always nice to get a win.
Oh, let's go!
Man, it was a long season. A long season. What is up, everybody, and welcome into the Winners Lounge.
Let's go! What are you doing? Come on,
Also known as the MUNDER Lounge.
Let's go.
Nuggets get a win in game 82. Final game of the regular season. Was it meaningless? Yes.
No.
Yes, but we will extract meaning from it nonetheless. To help me do it, I got the usual suspects here.
That's right.
Like D-line.
Guys, listen, I dressed up like an Easter egg on this important day. The last day of the season, the Denver Nuggets took care of business against a worthy opponent, the number 3 seed in the...
That's right. They shut down the number 1 offense in the NBA. Held them to a MUNDER. And then I got the little fella down there, Brendan Vogt.
Brendan.
What's up?
Wait a second. That's not Brendan Vogt. That's S3.
Oh, well, listen. Everybody's getting upgrades today.
S3, man. You made a bold prediction in the pregame. You said Peyton Watson was going to go for 15, 6, and 5. Instead, he goes for 13,
okay,
4,
all right, okay,
and 0.
Oh,
you
man.
also said his last bucket was going to be a poster.
We don't have to talk about that. No.
Yeah, why are we talking about old stuff?
Pull it down for him.
Why are we talking about old stuff, Adam?
But he got postered. Are you sure he did?
Yeah.
Maybe we misheard you. Did we mishear you?
Yeah, we don't talk about how he got postered. He was supposed to dunk on somebody, but he got
He was supposed to dunk on somebody. Guys, we're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. How did we do?
Amazing.
Did we?
Yeah. Listen, Domantas Sabonis, 9 rebounds.
9 rebounds.
We got P-Wat, over 1.5 blocks plus steals. That was the lock of the century.
Did he? Oh, yeah, he got 1 block, 1 steal.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
We got the Denver Nuggets to win this game. The money line, that was plus 185.
That's crazy.
Listen, never...
That is pretty good.
Never doubt the heart of a try-hard in a game that doesn't matter. We killed it today.
Which is the only bet we miss is the Trey Lyles one, which I feel like you should have known. Try hard. It's a try hard game.
Yeah, you're
Trey
right.
Lyles.
You're right. Listen. We've all made mistakes.
Let's do a fast recap here real quick. First of all, Jack White addressed the crowd for Fan Appreciation Night. We'll get to that.
Fan favorite, Jack White?
To which the crowd said, who? How many people do you think recognized Jack White? Let's say there were 16,000 people there. How many would have been like, oh, look, it's Jack White?
Were Jack White's parents in the crowd?
They might have been. 14-6 start for the Sacramento Kings, man. They came out, jumped all over the Nuggets. They brought their starters in this game, played the entire half. Not just 1 stint, 2 stints for the starters, and they got off to a big, a nice start. They were comfortably ahead the entire first quarter. But Peyton Watson started attacking. He was in attack mode in the first quarter of this game.
I love Peyton Watson.
I do too, man. His defense consistent. His offense is like, all right, let's see what he's got. This was the most aggressive he's been in any of the games. Going downhill, open court.
Easily. Well, I mean, this being a game that is the bastion of the try-hard, like Peyton Watson, of course, was going to shine in this game. And he did. He looked great.
Yeah, he looked really good. I love him in the open court. I've talked about it before.
Just really quick so everybody understands, we didn't plan this. Brendan literally just didn't show up. We already started the show.
Peyton Watson, though, so he was getting to the line, but he was also, Peyton Watson, getting his shot blocked. I want to talk about both of those things. Thomas Bryant in the game, you said he wasn't going to play.
Man, I was wrong about that. Listen, when you're wrong, and I'm not afraid to say it. I was wrong. Thomas Bryant, offensive force.
12 points, 8 rebounds for Thomas Bryant.
2 3-pointers?
3-pointers. And I have a note here in the first quarter. Yeah, you're a little late.
My bad.
In the first quarter, Reggie was the worst player on the court. He was really bad in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Now, he stepped up after that, but the first quarter was rough. 43-26 Sacramento Kings. If I told you, how much money are you willing to bet on the Nuggets getting a MUNDER in this game after the first quarter? 43 points, give it up. You would have been like, no chance.
The same amount that I would have bet on Thomas Bryant not getting in the game.
Second quarter, Reggie Jackson heating up. A lot of ISOs, a lot of buckets, though.
Right.
He was starting to get some buckets. Zeke also hit 2 threes. I think he started the game 2 of 2 from 3. I was getting excited. His shot back. And then Peyton Watson tried to posterize Kevin Huerter. S3 was almost right, man. He almost nailed the pick with a poster dunk on Kevin Huerter. RG, by the way, did you guys see? He called it attempted murder.
Murder.
I think he's the best. De'Aaron Fox, it's hard to remember. This was like 2 games, a first half game and a second half game. In the first half game, De'Aaron Fox was walking into layups.
Yeah, I guess we can probably make the line of demarcation when the starters played and when they didn't play.
59-67 Sacramento Kings. In the third quarter, Peyton Watson got yammed on. It was really sad.
It was.
Then there was an alley-oop that turned into a wedgie for Christian Brown. So there was some bad.
That was the
low
wildest
lights.
thing I've ever seen in an NBA game.
It
Is
happened.
that the first ever alley-oop wedgie?
Has to be.
It's got to be up there, right?
But in the fourth quarter, we got Jack White minutes. The guy was an absolute hoss on the rebounds. He played 14 minutes, grabbed 8 boards, including 3 offensive ones. You had Zeke Naji out there making some things happen. He had 18 points tonight. Reggie Jackson scored a little bit early on in that quarter. And the Nuggets, like deep bench, way more in midseason form than the Kings' deep bench. The Nuggets' deep bench has been playing for 3 weeks now.
This is their midseason. They're like 10 games in of like actually trying.
If I told you there was a guy called Neemias Keita that played today, would you believe it?
No, that's not even a name.
Chimezi Metu also. Did you know he was out there? What about Keon Ellis? Did you recognize Keon Ellis? What did you think of Keon Ellis for the Kings tonight? Did you like what you saw from him?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of his game?
I liked when
He played 13 minutes, by the way.
I liked when he was dribbling it.
You liked his handle?
Yeah, it's like a good dribble.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good for a point guard, but yeah, it's pretty good. We got,
we got
who's the kid?
S3.
S3 got
S3. Come on, keep up.
Let's give some big takeaways from this game as the Nuggets get a win. Vogt, start us off.
82 games later, the Denver Nuggets are
Drink it
in
in.
first place, and they're healthy heading into the playoffs. And I think for everything we didn't like and all we wrung our hands over for the last month and a half, 2 months, you could go back to the start of the season, veil of ignorance. We'd all take that. We don't need to know the context.
Yeah.
They're healthy. They're in first. Let's do it. I think there's a way this season could have ended where the momentum would be different. But all of that said, the Nuggets are right where they want to be. And so it was cool to see them end with a win because this season deserves it, especially at home where they've been the best team in their own arena all season long.
This is an exhale moment for you. And you're imploring Nuggets Nation to exhale. Like, hey, yes, we complained a lot over the last couple of weeks, but guess what? That's at this moment, now that's old stuff.
That's old stuff. This is 1 seed, healthy playoffs. They're one of the contenders. This is what we asked for. This is what we would all sign up for. And so the playoffs will start and we'll see what they got. But yeah, I'm imploring everyone to try to remember the goal was to get to this place right here.
Right. I like it. That's a very good takeaway. Bend the mic over there for S3 here. S3, give me your big takeaway. If you can give me just one, what's your big takeaway from this game?
The comeback. They were down by a lot in the first quarter, and they picked their defense up. They didn't let them shoot so many threes.
Yeah.
They had like 4 threes in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They stopped De'Aaron Fox for a
Yeah,
couple
mostly
of minutes.
he went to the bench.
Listen, Adam, this
That's
is his big
technically
takeaway.
correct.
Let him take it away.
I like it.
Bruce Brown was great.
Oh,
He had 21 points. I think 6 assists.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I like that you don't even need notes. You just have it all internalized.
would you call him the DraftKings
Sportsbook. King of the game.
I don't know if he would say that, but I'll say it legally for you guys as a 30-year-old man. It's the DraftKings Sportsbook King of the game.
Let's go.
Bruce Brown, 21 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds.
And by the way, we were sitting with S3, and in that first quarter when the Nuggets were down big, he was not. You were not shaking, huh? You were sitting there. He's like, "Oh man, Nuggets, they just got to play defense. They got this." And guess what? He was right.
so right.
He was so
Unshakable
right.
faith.
Play a little defense, and then next thing you know,
Unshakable
they win comfortably. Eric, D-line, big takeaway.
Big takeaway. The season is over.
That's it. You don't have anything from the game?
I did not watch the game.
How closely were you paying attention to the game? I mean, you
Actually
noticed.
watching-
I mean, you
listen.
noticed.
I watched
Keon
it.
Ellis a little
Okay,
bit.
truly, my big takeaway is that Peyton Watson is maturing right before our eyes. He is a very legitimate player in this league. I don't know that you can count on him for everything, but like I really hope this guy gets a shot in the playoffs. Like I love his energy. I love the way he plays. And you know, as far as guys that were actually going to play assuredly in the playoffs, like my man S3 says, Bruce Brown, what a game, man. Anytime that he's been handed the keys over this last, like, however miserable long stretch it's been, like, he's always one of the guys that comes out and plays with heart, plays with passion, plays with grit. So in that way, like, I like what I'm seeing at a few of these guys heading into the playoffs.
By the way, before this show gets too far away from us, I have to say it. Adam corrected a child on the show. He was like 2 words into his own big takeaway. As if it was me, Adam corrected him.
Am I wrong? You gotta. It's all fair, man. It's on the panel. I gotta keep everybody on their toes. You know how it is, man. I'm not playing favorites.
No
if you come
dunks.
incorrect, I gotta correct you.
No dunks.
I gotta get on them.
Another take. Shout out Thomas Bryant. 2 threes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You need to look D-line right in the eye when you say that, though. You gotta you're telling him. Shout out Thomas Bryant.
Are you trying to start a dust up here on this sideline? This has been a whole day of this.
Absolutely, Thomas Bryant played well, and it's nice. Like, look, Thomas Bryant probably not playing it. That was probably the last we'll see of Thomas Bryant minus garbage time in playoffs. But it was nice for him to have one good game for the Nuggets.
That was good.
You know what I mean? Like, he played like 12 games. 11 were bad. I'm glad at the last game of the year he got a good one in. I like your take about Bruce Brown. It's nice for him to be ramping up. I think my big takeaway would be Peyton Watson, but let's circle back to him. So I'll make a fake one, and that is, I am not a Reggie Jackson guy. It's not my type of player.
Why is that?
I just don't. I don't.
Adam likes good players.
Well, that's part of it. I just like control.
Yep.
And I just feel like he's a little bit of chaos, and I don't think he's like a great.
Yeah.
If you're playing with him, I don't think everybody else is going to have a good game, but your hope is that he's going to have a good game. 2 of the last 3, he's got into this ISO mode where he has hit some big time shots, man. And tonight he was a plus 21 in 25 minutes. He went 7 of 11 from the field, and a lot of those were like playoff Reggie type shots, right? Where you're like, I don't love him, but if you're going to take him, you better hit him. And he hit him all tonight. So is that a sign of things to come? I don't know. Michael Malone, I know, kind of has a lot of confidence in him. And look, if you're going to play him, might as well make your shots.
Listen, man, this guy has proven he can do it in this league.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, in not that distant of a future, or a past, rather. It's like actually very encouraging to see him feel a little bit more confident. This is actually having just these absolute garbage games in the last week or so is good for a guy like that specifically.
Right.
And you could see he's still chaotic, but he's making his shots.
What just happened?
I'll save it for our ATA.
We can't do it? Is there like a breaking news story?
No, Jaden McDaniels broke his hand punching the wall.
Oh my gosh,
God.
man.
We'll get there.
Also,
We'll get there.
the big news of the day is the greatest nickname ever
Unbelievable.
given in the chat, which is for S3, who's smaller dev / taller vote.
You know what Dev and I, like, literally, clinically go to a doctor 1 inch apart. Same height. But I agree. But you know what's funny? It is funny. It is funny.
Practically the same size. I love it.
There's one tall guy on this show. The rest of us. All right, I digress.
There's some meaty stuff, though, to get into, though. Actually, let's stay on the Reggie Jackson thing, because I want to get your take on this vote. I mean, Reggie Jackson is admittedly chaos. Like, you're going to inject chaos if he plays, but do you like that he's making some of these crazy shots?
I think it's better to have the option to try Reggie Jackson than not. I would prefer that whatever that first 8-man rotation is doesn't include him because of what you just said, the controllable factors. He is, ironically, so much like Bones would have been, and that a lot of this is going to be like, well, it's an adventure, but if the tough shots go in, it's worth it.
Right.
I think there's something to having that option. I think if you need a spark, I'm honestly still, after all of this, glad they used that roster spot on him. But I don't think you want him to be one of the top 8.
Right.
I think if you can limit it to ball in the hands of guys that you trust, just the decision-making from start to finish, that would be optimal.
So does he run a unit well?
The Nuggets seem to have this guy every year that they bring in, like the wily vet that is rangy, cagey, can get hot. You can't necessarily trust. Before it was Austin Rivers, and now it's.
But Austin Rivers played great defense every night.
Right.
Sometimes he made baskets, and most of the time he played great defense. He's a good defender.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, they're not that dissimilar in just like They're both like kind of tall. It's just like visually. I understand what you mean. Like, I don't know if you would count on him to run the second unit, but I do think that there is something to just having guys that have been there, having guys that have done it, and not being necessarily scared of the moment. Veteran presence is meaningful, and it's especially meaningful to Michael Malone.
Yeah. I think, but I'm asking specifically about does he run? He's a point guard. Like, does he run the second unit in a way where you're like, well, you know what? You had Monte back in the day, or Jameer Nelson. You're like, okay, he's going to get them organized. I can't tell if it's going to go good or well, but they're going to get the shots they want. Do you feel like he brings that to the second unit? Either one of you guys. I mean,
it's tough because he has looked so insanely chaotic, and our second unit is pretty much characterized by guys that are not necessarily explosive offensively. I wouldn't be surprised if Bruce Brown was the one that ran the second unit, and Reggie Jackson deferred more to the 2 than he did to the 1. But I mean, I just don't think you count on that. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he could step up in a moment of need.
So Blanco, Adam asking leading questions. I kind of am because I don't think he runs a unit. Like, I think he scores, and this is why when he has the ball in his hands, I'm not like, oh, things are going to get settled. I'm like, Reggie's going to try to find a shot. Right. And lately, he's been hitting them. Like 2 of the last 3 games, he's hit a lot of those. But I do feel like it's just I am so uncomfortable with that. You're more comfortable when you're like, well, at least they're going to know what they're doing. It's like, nope, Reggie's either going to hit or not hit these pull-up jumpers and these pick-and-roll pull-ups. And that's when he plays, that's kind of his role. And it's hard, I think, to kind of fit around that. Nonetheless, I am glad that he's making rather than missing these going into the playoffs.
I agree with that. That's hard-hitting analysis, and I'm with it.
Will Reggie Jackson win a playoff game for the Nuggets?
I think he's going to.
Really?
I don't know. I can't explain it. I just know that there's an Austin Rivers game. I know that there's going to be a Reggie Jackson game.
There was a Bones game.
A hometown kid. It's going to happen. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, S3 has some thoughts on this. Please give it.
On Reggie Jackson?
Reggie Jackson is definitely going to help us win the playoff game. He is probably going to have like 20 points. You never know.
20?
Listen, Adam. Don't correct him.
The craziest is if they play the Clippers. Like,
if he plays the Clippers, he's definitely gonna have 20.
So that would be the interesting one, as we keep thinking about a Bones Highland revenge, coming to Denver. But I mean, there's a Reggie Jackson revenge factor as well. That would be kind of fun to look at it that way as well. And then Bruce, 9 of 17. I think it's funny that the 2 guys who took the most shots tonight are Bruce took 17 shots and Zeke Naji took 16. I don't know which one's funnier.
It's definitely the Zeke one, dude.
Zeke getting up 16.
Also, an entire year of not even looking at the rim after setting a screen. And then he was popping and shooting everything he touched today.
He had a quick trigger tonight on his 3. He was also a plus 19, which is kind of interesting.
He was actually really good around the rebounding and around the rim. Tenacious Z, man. The stuff we like to see.
Yep.
He did grab 7 rebounds. He had an assist. He had a steal. He had 4 turnovers, and he did go just 2 of 9 from 3. To your point, I do think some of them were forced, but whatever. I would almost rather him force them in a game like this just to kind of explore his game a little bit.
Explore.
So if I asked you, we had the core 3 guys, and then you had the others. Peyton Watson, Zeke Naji, and Reggie Jackson. Who made the strongest case for more minutes in the playoffs?
That's a good question.
I mean,
Michael Malone, first of all, for the record, basically said all 3 of them are equal, and it's just what you need.
Which is exactly what you want. I mean, that's exactly what I think Reggie did. I think Reggie did. Like, he
really,
just because of we have film on what's possible. Everybody else is just like a massive question mark.
Yeah.
I think it's Zeke Naji.
Wow.
I think they're going to need a back. Well, in theory, they're going to consider one more big in that 8-ish rotation. I think he's made the best case of anyone off the bench all year long, just in terms of what he can do defensively, how consistently he's rebounded. I thought he looked really good today. The Reggie stuff is whatever it was, Yeah. He's going to take these shots. Maybe they go in, maybe they don't. But I don't know. I just like Zeke's approach. I just think he's been playing winning basketball more often than not.
And I'll go Peyton. So we all go different people here. I like Peyton's defense. And if you tell me the 9th man in a playoff rotation probably is playing 6 total minutes, it might be one stint of 5 minutes. I trust Peyton Watson to go out there and just guard for 5 minutes. He might not even touch the ball on offense, but he'll go out there and guard. He'll try to block some shots. He might rebound a little bit. But all 3 guys, honestly, had a upswing heading into the
For
postseason,
sure.
which is a real positive thing.
Yes.
No questions asked. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, let's get to more Peyton Watson discussion. Let's talk some long-term stuff because the offense tonight was interesting. Maybe more interesting than his defense.
You can be watching the Masters at the DNVR Bar here on the corner of York and Colfax. It's a great time. Got a customized, updated menu. And I think yesterday we had Pins and Aces in here hanging out.
We did.
The
Pop-up
official,
shop.
the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and DNVR. Playing golf is cool. Having fun while playing golf is essential. But so is looking good while you're playing. They've got tons of gear. Polos, hats, golf bags, and of course, every time I get a chance to tell you about the beer sleeve, I just perk up. It's so exciting. I'm a fan of innovation, you know?
Yeah, and of 7 beers.
Invention. That's, yes, as well. 7 cold ones.
They
And
also have the liquor stick. It's not on there, but they have both the beer sleeve and the liquor stick, which is hilarious.
What is the liquor stick?
It's the same, but for liquor.
Well,
Oh.
it's just like a mechanized stick that I think it holds an entire fifth of alcohol.
Yeah, so you
and then
just
you
pour
push a
your own
button
drinks
and it
up there.
motorizes it spits it out.
Whether you're into the sticks, the sleeves, the shirts, the hats, whatever it is, pinsandaces.com, official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and DNVR. Use code DNVR, receive 15% off your first order, and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. Game Time is the hottest new ticketing app. It's taking the United States by storm. I can't go anywhere without people just bringing up Game Time everywhere I go.
In the U.S.
Yeah, in the U.S., yeah. The thing about Game Time is it looks to bring 2 people together that should be together. Those of you who want to sell your tickets at the last second. Those of you who want to buy your tickets at the... Brendan looks big next to the kid. That's what the comment...
That's the first positive slant we've gotten. My favorite is when you position Game Time app as a dating
app, yeah.
It's
And
my
look,
favorite.
you never know who you're going to be sitting to, what their height might be, who you're sitting next to, but you'll know that those seats will be awesome. With Game Time, best prices. Check it out last second. Why not? You should go to the game, and you should go with Game Time. And by the way, we have a code now. It's not just that link. You can use code DNVR. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms
Let's
apply.
go.
Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. I don't know, maybe a playoff game or something. That'd be pretty cool. Nuggets, Avs, whatever it is you like to see here in Denver, get your butts in those seats with Game Time.
All right, we back. Segment 2 here, DNVR Nuggets. We got a lot to get to today. We're going to wrap up this segment talking about the Nuggets portion of this game because the play-in seedings are now all set. The storylines are set. And also, by the way, we had 2 fights on the bench today and a very pressure-filled game 82.
In the only 2 games that actually mattered.
I have a take about it. A very spicy take. That's probably a little galaxy brain. It's probably not like an overthinking thing, but nonetheless, it's fun.
The setup for this
The
take.
setup, yeah, a lot of setup there. Peyton Watson, let's get back to him.
Love a nuanced tease.
His defense, man, I'm just so sold on it. You couldn't tell me, well, I'm a little concerned about this or that. I'm like, nope, he moves his body well. He accepts challenges every possession. Like he wants to play defense on every possession, which is no small thing. Honestly, a lot of rookies will want it or this or that, but even he just so clearly like wants to be a defensive guy. But tonight, his offense, I thought, took a shine or took a step into the spotlight. Now, the numbers aren't great. 0 of 2 from 3, 4 of 10 from the field, 13 points, only 4 rebounds, and that's in 26 minutes, and of course to go with the steal and the block. But I thought his open court play has been good for all of these games, and tonight, no starters. There was an extra opportunity for him to be aggressive, and he looked comfortable being aggressive. To me, it looks like there's the foundation in place. When you compare him to a Herb Jones or a Jaden McDaniels, both of those guys, they're both slashers, but they're not guys that you say like, oh, I like when he does this on offense. Or they don't really have a thing. With Peyton, I look at it and I go, I think he can handle. He definitely can be a slasher, but he might be able to handle. He might be a guy that grows into a, hey, let him drive to the basket on pick and roll and see if he can't punish people inside. His offense tonight, I thought, looked pretty encouraging.
I mean, that guy plays downhill. He really
that's a great point.
When he gets over the half court line, like he just sometimes it's a little terrifying, honestly, but he's pretty much in control. Like he hasn't taken charges to my memory. But he really just like you're saying, like he attacks the rim. Everything about his game is about energy and attacking. And that's not something we have a lot of on this team. So it's so refreshing to see it. And it really stands out. Like the way that P-Wat has performed over the last 2-3 games, it's like such a revelation, because it's not only is it just nice to see somebody that actually cares about playing basketball, but to see rim defense, to see just another rookie with very competent defensive sensibilities is just says, I mean, again, just to go back, like what we were saying the day before, I mean, it just says everything about what Calvin Booth was looking for in this draft, what we said on draft night. He clearly just wants to be able to surround Nikola Jokic with shooters and defenders. We have shooters, we have not had defenders, and these two defensive-minded rookies are like they both play well above their age. They're just very mature that way.
Yeah.
Which is great.
What I like about Watson is with some of these lineups where they haven't played or practiced, what's the pecking order? What is that half-court offense supposed to look like? Why stick around and ask any questions? He just is like, well, I'm going to the hole. I've made my mind up. Someone needs to be aggressive. I'll be that guy. I thought the stretch of missed finishes around the rim he had today, he started trying to go around the contact, kind of shying away from it, where his most aggressive drives, he's gone right through it. And in this league, you're getting foul calls if you do that. And even a rook like Peyton has actually done a pretty good job of getting himself to the line and the rim, both with the same approach. So I think we saw today a little bit of that. He tried to get too cute with it, but when he just goes right through guys, he's athletic, he's strong, he's got the build. I really like watching him play. Have to see what he can do, shooting, dribbling, passing, all of that TBD. But I think you've seen the athleticism pop, and I think you've seen the defense pop for sure.
I like that you mentioned the likability, though, because that's it with me, too. Like, it's a weird thing to say. We've been doing this long enough where we cover the team obsessively.
Yeah.
But it is nice to have guys you like. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
There are good players where you're like, all right, he's our guy. Like, we got, this or that. But I'm like, no, I really like the way this guy plays, carries himself, all of those things. Like, I like the player he's trying to become.
The Denver Nuggets have so many of these guys, high character guys. It seems to have been something that is actually, there's a premium put on by the front office. Like watching the NFL, like it puts you in a weird position in the opposite direction. You're like, oh, that's
Right.
my guy.
Yeah,
there he
totally
is. He's
true.
the number one guy. But it is great, like especially in the NBA when you have such a close relationship with the players because you see their faces. There's only 5 of them on the floor at any given time. You really know everything about them. You're able to have deep dives and sort of understand what each player is about. And just having guys that it feels good rooting for, it's meaningful. I mean, like ultimately winning means everything, but in the meantime, like it's nice to be like, yeah, man, I like that guy. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. The other guy I want to talk about from this game tonight, or actually I got a couple of them. I'll talk real quickly about Vlatko Cancar, who played 22 minutes tonight, was somehow only a -2 despite being like a -20 in the first quarter. So rest of the game clawed his way back. Goes 1 of 1 from the 3-point line, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Did have 1 turnover. I'm glad he also had, I thought, a decent game tonight. Did some good things. It struggled a little bit the last one. He's another guy that we're talking about Zeke, being the lock. I still think that I'm still not convinced that Vlatko isn't the best option for a second big alongside Jeff.
He is.
He's the worst option?
No, he's the better option.
Oh, he's the better option between the two. I think some of this depends on who you put out there. I mean, I think he's a little wasted with Reggie Jackson, to be honest, because part of what Vlatko brings is playmaking from a different position. And if you put him with Reggie, I just think that's a little bit wasted. But I don't know. It was good to see him. His year has been so weird. It's good to see him get a chance to play extended minutes.
His career has been so weird. He just continually gets Wally pipped. Comes in, plays great, gets hurt, loses his spot.
Yeah.
Comes in, plays great, like step and repeat over and over and over. Like, when's it going to be his turn, man? I don't know.
No, it doesn't sound anytime soon. The other guy, though, Jack White. You guys have heard me like really be high on a guy that's like a two-way player, this or that. I like Jack White. He goes tonight with 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting, 8 rebounds in 14 minutes. That guy is a rebounding monster. I'm telling you. If you ask me, he told me he was going to play 14 minutes. I bet he's grabbing 5+ boards, guaranteed it, because that's what he does as well as anybody. He grabbed 3 offensive rebounds. But here's what's crazy: assist, steal, block. Guy played 1 quarter. It was a +13. Now it was a garbage time quarter. I like Jack White, man. I think that he is an all-around like hustler who has skill. He reminds me of a Vlatko from the small forward position. You know, he's a guy that I think I talked to you guys about this earlier. Earlier in the year, I would not have minded Jack White and Peyton Watson playing a little bit of minutes. They probably wouldn't have looked as good as they did right now. But if you're committing to guys, find little weird moments where you could try him out in a game that you're punting on anyway. Denver had enough games they punted on. But I watched him tonight, and he looked exactly what I expected him to look like, given the projection I have of him in my head.
Well, that's exactly what he looked like in Summer League.
Right.
That's how he got that roster spot.
Yep.
And it was flat out earned. You know, I remember there was a mini discussion about how you want to handle that spot just in terms of positional overlap fit, right, with the roster. And so I don't know, man. I just think he, despite maybe that argument for maybe another guard like Adonis Arms, he went out and he earned it.
Oh yeah, Adonis Arms.
There was a bottom line sort of element to his performance in that he was the best player trying out for a spot. A lot of it was rebounding. I remember this is March, as I've told you guys before. What is it now? April 9? It's March.
It's April.
So yeah, so Jack, I think, is built for these kinds of games, right? Where you just play hard, you know where to be. And this guy is not, I don't think he's intimidated or confused on the court.
No,
He's smart.
Smart player.
Went to Duke.
it's Ivy
Played
League.
professionally for like 5
Ivy
years.
League of the South. Yeah, no, I like Jack White too. I don't know that we'll ever see him again. I hope that we do.
I think we'll see him next year.
I hope so. I like him. What do you think about Jack White? S3.
Man, we're giving him the hardest question there is.
I'm curious. Did
Only
you-
the biggest sickos know about Jack White.
Was it the girl that was rebounding so much?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
the big lunky white guy from Australia.
He is very athletic. Well, he had a dunk, a putback dunk, but they didn't count it. It was interference. It was all right, though.
It was a good dunk, though. It
was
was still
good.
like
It
a
was
good
good.
dunk.
He is a rebounding machine.
Yeah. There you go, man. Well, get us out of here, S3. Give us your final takeaway or your final prediction for these Nuggets, man. We're going into the playoffs. Are you in battle mode? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are we going to do it?
Yeah. I want to play.
Like you
Warriors.
yourself? Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I want to play the Warriors.
Wow,
We
really?
need to get our get back.
Give S3 the Warriors.
Yeah, we need to get our get back.
He's not afraid of any smoke.
I love this.
How
man.
does that series go?
Nuggets are going to win.
And 5 and 6 and 7 and 4?
4-3.
Oh, game 7. They're going to be game 7 against the Warriors. I don't think I have it in me, man. I don't know. I don't think I have it in me.
It's not up to us.
I'm going to go too gray. I'm going to go too bald.
Not up to us. This is what's going to happen.
All right. So that's what you want. But you're feeling confident, S3?
Yeah.
You know what? You were confident in the first quarter when things did not look good for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
And you were
This kid is
right.
pure
So
confidence.
I like your confidence. I'm going to rely on your confidence. I'm going to co-opt your confidence since I have so little.
I'm going to co-op some of his hair as long as we're co-opting.
Because you also have so little there as well. All right, S3, man. Thank you so much for hanging with us. We appreciate you, dude. You brought the heat today. He multitasked today, watching the game and playing a little basketball in the bar.
And the most shocking yet amazing development of the day is that S3 had a basketball signed by Jokic,
Oh, that's right. Yep.
signed
Bones?
by Bones Highland,
Yeah.
signed by Jamal Murray,
Yeah, probably. And
now signed by D-Line,
by D-Line. Also signed by D-Line, man.
the most coveted ball in all the land.
The greatest basketball there is. Awesome stuff, man. Thank you so much for hanging with us.
Dude. Thank you.
He's got one more. He's like, bro, I'll leave
Everybody?
when I'm ready.
Follow me on Instagram. Remember it.
What is it?
S3Baby27.
S3
I need 2 more followers to get to 2K.
If we don't
2
get
more.
2 more followers for S3 Baby 27 by the end of this, we're not doing any shows in the playoffs.
If you guys give me 2K, I'll be on the show again.
There you go, brother. Thank you so much. Take us into break vote. On the other side, we got Harrison Wynn live from the arena.
This is my favorite show we've ever done.
Yeah. If any of you guys are kind of confused about that, so are we. It just kind of happened. So are we.
Love it.
We love
That
it.
was awesome. All right, let's get the reads going. because I was not ready for that at all.
Why would you?
Man,
be?
did you see how slowly I set that up too?
Yeah, it
we're
took a
getting
long
a
time.
break. I guess into like
Very
3 minutes
clear what
ago.
you were doing.
I had to let the child exit the set. Okay, Backus and Schenker, Colorado's premier 2-man game. You know what they don't do? They don't load manage. They manage your case, and then they don't charge you for the case unless they've won you money. So if you've been in an accident, if you've been harmed and it's not your fault, you've got a phone call to make. You don't have to pay anyone just for making the phone call. You just ask them some questions. They take your case and they win. Then they'll charge you. And they do win, by the way. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. They've got locations in Denver, Aurora, Englewood, and Fort Collins. And they've got the strength and power to win your case. It's not just Backus and Schenker. Over 30 lawyers and 100 folks on staff. All kinds of injury cases where you weren't at fault. Accidents, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrians, trucks. They can even help if you're injured at work. You're going to want to call this number 222-2222 to find out if you have a case. Backus and Schenker, they win, baby. They win. You know what else wins? I do when I start my day with Athletic Greens, baby.
Let's go.
Best way to start the day, 1 scoop of 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, plus 12 cold ounces of delicious water. And I have already started my day in the perfect way. I don't need any more vitamins. I don't need to think about making sure I'm getting some greens, eating salads throughout the day. You still can, it helps, but you already got it taken care of with Athletic Greens. How can you try some Athletic Greens, you might be wondering? Go to athleticgreens.com/nuggets, athleticgreens.com/nuggets to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Alrighty, back here, and we have Harrison Wind live from the arena.
We do.
Live from the arena on Fan Appreciation Night. Wind, did you feel properly appreciated at Ball Arena tonight?
I think the Jack White minutes really did it for me. Just that second half rebounding display. I feel appreciated after that. That's all I needed.
That was an incredible rebounding display by Jack White.
Really
in all sincerity, though, a weird Fan Appreciation Night with no Nuggets starters playing. Even though the Kings brought their starters for a half, they kept their guys fresh. Was it weird at all to be at this weird game?
I don't know, because this is just kind of what I expected coming into it. But I could tell the fans weren't happy, especially in that first half when the Nuggets were playing terribly. There were some faint boos tonight on Fan Appreciation Night.
No way.
In the first quarter when the Nuggets were just getting worked. And they gave up, 43 points in the first quarter. There were some faint boos at that point. But in the end, I think the fans were ultimately okay with, the outcome, because, the Nuggets did put forward a good in that second half. So I think in the end, everybody was fine.
All right. Well, walk us through what was the post game like?
So I talked to Michael Malone after the game, or we talked to Michael Malone after the game, and he was really happy with the effort in that second half and just the outcome tonight, because he said he just did not want the stench of losing a game with us, for the entire week. The Nuggets are off, or they're not off, but they just practice. They have no games this whole entire week. So he really wanted to end the season on a W and just kind of have that feeling with them the rest of the week. And he also said it's going to feel good to have the outright best record in the West. He said that was a goal of theirs, and just to have that is going to be something to feel really good about. And then Michael Malone was talking about Jack White. He called him Dennis Rodman-esque. He said he was the Aussie worm out there tonight.
The Aussie worm. I'm telling you, man, he is. He really is. I was telling these guys, watch as the shots are getting ready to go up. He's looking for rebounding angles. He's always focused on it.
Yeah. Malone talked about that also. I asked him just what kind of player do you think Jack White can be? And he talked about his rebounding. He said some guys, just the defensive rebound just falls to them. Jack White's somebody who goes and gets it, who carves out space, who really puts in an effort to go get those contested defensive rebounds and offensive rebounds. He really just spoke highly about his rebounding and how hard he plays. He said, wherever he plays, wherever Jack plays, Grand Rapids or here, he's going to play hard.
I love it, man. I'm a fan.
And then, Malone was also talking about other guys who he liked tonight. Reggie Jackson, he called out. He said, look, I will not hesitate to use Reggie Jackson in the playoffs, mainly because of his experience. He's got 69 playoff games under his belt, and I trust him in the playoffs. And then Malone also said, if I have to use Peyton Watson in a playoff series, I will, if the situation calls for it. So I think we have a good sense of Michael Malone's playoff rotation. He outlined it pregame. The 5 starters, Jeff Green, Christian Brown, Bruce Brown, are locked in off the bench. And then depending on the matchup, I think Peyton Watson is a guy that could be used. Reggie Jackson is a guy who could be used. And if they need a backup center, they will use one. I just don't know for sure who that will be. So.
Yeah. Well, Thomas Bryant
bet I
made a
know who it won't
strong case tonight.
I bet I know.
Thomas
who it
Bryant
won't be.
made a strong case tonight.
I don't think it will be Thomas Bryant.
Well,
I don't think it
Michael
will be
Malone left it open-ended, so we'll wait and see.
And then finally, Michael Malone was talking about DeAndre Jordan, and he spoke really highly of DJ. He said, look, first off, he's played really well lately. All year long, his rebounding has been off the charts. But then he also went on to talk about just the impact behind the scenes and just the impact, the impression he's had on this team has been really tangible. It's been a real thing. He's never made it about himself. And then Malone says, look, I always tell him, come be a coach with us at Summer League if you want. Like, you can do whatever you want after your playing career is over. You can be a coach. You can be in the front office. And Malone said he's just really thankful that he's here.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy for DeAndre in that way.
Yeah, he's a real bench guy.
No, I think DeAndre's earned it, and I think the signing it went through a lot of different phases of how it was evaluated and how we reflected on it. At first, so much vitriol. Then, okay, maybe it's not too bad.
Your phone.
Then he really starts to struggle. But then you really see the value by the end of it in him as a veteran presence. And every guy on that team that we've talked to, from the coaches to the players, they haven't hesitated to mention him. I'm glad to hear it on the last day win, because I do think, in hindsight, it's a good thing that DeAndre Jordan was on this roster.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
wouldn't mind
yeah.
if we had a center that we could play, but whatever.
But here's the funny thing about it, man. Before the trade deadline, did they need a backup center? And honestly, I don't know that they really did at that point. The thing is, they played Thomas Bryant. If they would have just brought him in as a reserve, honestly, you had Vlatko, you had Zeke, you had Jeff Green. I think that's actually the better option.
Well, we're going to see what is required of them moving forward into the playoffs, if they have need for a backup 5 at all, which maybe they don't.
Maybe they. It depends on who they play.
Here's the thing. If they need rebounding in the playoffs on their bench, I think DeAndre Jordan might be the choice, like over a Zeke Naji. I could see that
I
scenario.
mean, he's the one
playing
that
out.
rebounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I have from the podium. I was in the locker room after this game. I had a nice chat with Thomas Bryant, actually, just about like his time in Denver. And I think he's actually really enjoyed it. He's enjoyed the culture here. He's enjoyed just playing for this organization and being a part of it. And
Not a fan of your Thomas Bryant hate.
and just kind of learning and watching Nikola Jokic. So that might be up on the DNVR, tonight or this next week. But I had a nice chat with him.
Looking forward to those wind chimes for sure. And I have heard, of Thomas Bryant that he's extremely impressed. He's coming from the Lakers. It's always important to remember the different cultures or this or that. I know that Thomas Bryant has been very impressed with the Denver Nuggets locker room and culture. And think about how poorly things have gone from him here. It's been a disaster. For him to be like, wow, this place is amazing, really tells you how unique it is in that way. And he's even, I know, referenced Nikola Jokic specifically, him being a center, Jokic being a center, about his leadership and just the way everybody kind of respects him in that locker room and stuff. And I just think that stuff is, it's really cool. It's really cool for a guy that things can go that poorly, but he still is impressed.
I agree.
Yeah, I will say, talking to him just now, I don't get the impression that he's pissed off or super angry that he's not playing. Sure, he's frustrated because look, everybody wants to play, but
Yeah.
I don't get the sense that he's oh, I hate Denver. I hate Michael Malone because he's not playing me. I think
Right.
he genuinely likes it here, even though he's not in the rotation.
It'd be wild if he re-signed after how poorly things went. Oh, that's incredible. All right. Well, any final takeaways from you just about this game or anything you saw tonight?
I mean, another sellout on Fan Appreciation Day. I think the Nuggets are top 10 in attendance. The crowds here have been great all season, and I think this arena is ready for the playoffs.
Well, we'll find out. We're 1 week away. Harrison Wind, get home safely. Thanks so much for the report, dude. I love that he doesn't say goodbye. He just
Kale kicked him right out.
Kale's like, that was not me. He had his finger over the exit button the whole interview. He's like,
Not
just
even
say
a
the word,
goodbye.
boom, I'm out of here. I'm going home.
And then we never saw him again.
And we never saw Wind again. Let's go to our final break here. On the other side, though, let's go around the association.
Yes.
They're all locked in. We'll make it a longer fourth segment. We got some big stuff coming up here. And also, multiple bench fights today in the NBA.
Oh my God.
We have to get to my take that I told you about.
Wow.
My
More-
special crazy take.
This take had better be worth 2 lead-ups.
DraftKings Sportsbook is America's top-rated sportsbook, and this Saturday, the action-packed UFC 287 fight card
Was yesterday.
finishes. That's right, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Listen, here's the deal. We're just going to audible. You can bet on a lot of things with DraftKings Sportsbook, including UFC, and you can now come watch UFC at the DNVR Bar on the
Yes.
corner of York and Colfax. Wow, smooth recovery.
So
Woo.
good. Great job.
Yeah, so you can come place your bets with DraftKings, watch the game here, have a little Breck brew, be a company man or woman. Why not? All customers can get closer to the octagon by building same game parlays, just like you would for a basketball game. You can do that with fights as well. Combine more legs, get an even bigger payout. Download that app now. Use code DNVR. New customers can bet just $5 on a pre-fight money line and get $150 in bonus bets if their fighter wins. So use DraftKings Sportsbook with code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Whether you're watching fighting, basketball, baseball, football, so many ways to play, so many ways to win with DraftKings Sportsbook. What's up, Eric?
The greatest part about that is they audibled away, but then went right back into the read, talking about winning on fighters. It was magnificent.
Thanks, man. I'm really prepared for this next read. The American Raptors at Infinity Park, baby. Rugby Town, USA. It's
Let's
right
go.
here in Colorado. It's Glendale. It's a cool place to come check out the rugby culture because the American Raptors who play there are a part of the of the Super Rugby Americas competition. They're the only North American team in that competition. After playing some games down south, those folks are going to come up here to play them in Glendale. We want you to check it out. Tickets are just $10 and children 12 and under are free. If you can't make it, watch all of the American Raptors matches live on ESPN+. And if you want to learn more about the game, check out DNVR Rugby, the podcast hosted by our friend Colton Strickler.
Let's go.
So, guys, final segment here. We'll make it a little bit of a long one because there's some good stuff. So, this was a contentious day for the few games that matter. We'll start with the Minnesota Timberwolves had a game 82 where they played the New Orleans Pelicans in Minnesota, and the winner would get the higher seed in the play-in. They would get the 8. Other team would get the 9. What's interesting, and then on the bench in this game, early on, I think it was before half, Rudy Gobert gets into it with Kyle Anderson, who I've never seen anybody get into it with Kyle Anderson before.
If you're going to fight somebody, you want to make sure you fight somebody who is going to punch the slowest possible punch. That you
Look
have
at this
the
thing
ability
here. So you can see that they're arguing. It doesn't seem like it should elevate too high.
Yeah.
And then Gobert says, hey.
He punches him in the
And
shoulder.
then backpedals. This is backpedals. Like, and look at the team.
Dude.
Just look at the body language of the rest of the team. The rest of the team is like, yo, bro, watch it again here. It's so good. We could watch it again here. Gobert clearly
This
upset.
is the funniest.
What do you
little-
want me to do?
Oh no, I
And
got
then
you.
Punch.
No, time out.
And
Time out.
then he gets
Time out.
shoved.
No give
And then
backs.
he walks out, and nobody comes to his defense. Like, I'm telling you, man, Gobert. Whoo. Draymond Green, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this on the timeline. When Draymond punched Jordan Poole in the preseason, Draymond Green said like insecure something, or
Rudy Gobert
tweeted something like insecurity is loud, or so maybe somebody can correct me with it. Well, just today, Draymond Green, who by the way had a basketball game at the same time, Must have gone straight to the locker room and been like, "Oh, I have a tweet lined up for this." I actually respect the level of petty for you to remember something and that quickly call it back up. And anyway, he tweeted out the exact same thing. Again, I'm screwing up the line here because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But
It's because you're not new media.
I'm not new media, man. But it was like insecurity is loud or something like that. Guys, here's my take before we get to the Timberwolves specifically.
Oh man, the take?
Here's my take that I teased twice and now a third time.
Oh my God, nobody talk.
The NBA, I'm telling you, this has been the least pressure-filled regular season because everyone has taken it off and gamed and like, hey, does this game matter? No. And so many games have not mattered. Then we get to tonight where those teams, Minnesota had so much at stake. The pressure went from down here where nothing matters, doesn't matter if we win or lose, to all of a sudden it's the most important game ever. I feel like the teams were not ready for it, man. They went from 0 to 100 in one day, and we had 2 bench fights.
Are the Nuggets going to get in a bench fight?
Honestly, you're joking, but part of me goes, one thing about the Nuggets not caring for a week is that the pressure has gone from, did tonight's game matter, the last game? Malone's all upset, and all the players are kind of laughing at him, to all of a sudden, you can't lose game 1.
Yeah.
I do think, I'm not saying the Nuggets are going to fight, but I do think there is a weird thing that, hey, man, the pressure swing is so big. It's going to be unfathomable almost, the pressure from the last 20 Nuggets games to what we're going to see on next Sunday.
Yeah. The craziest thing is that they're fighting themselves.
Those teams, yeah.
Yes, insane. We didn't even mention that Jaden McDaniels broke his hand.
Well, I want to get to all of Minnesota's foils here.
One more on the Gobert thing. Kevin Garnett tweeted. He chimed in. Kevin Garnett loves it.
Yeah,
Kevin Garnett thinks this is the exact way to prime up and prepare for the playoffs.
To punch each other?
Yeah, I think that's the funniest thing in the world. Everyone's like, oh no, the Wolves are in trouble. And KG's like, I was begging to see this.
He says nothing like, you can find the tweet, Kale, but it says nothing like a light scuffle to tighten up the screws before the playoffs. LFG Timberwolves. I think he misread the situation because Gobert, then apparently the argument continued in the locker room during halftime, and the team, Tim Conley announced, by the way. Tim Conley, never good when he has to give an official statement. You know, like the president of basketball operations, they give official statements like 3 times a year. When you're dragged to giving an official statement on something during, not after, during, or maybe it was slightly after game 82 of the season, things have gone wrong. But he gave an official statement saying, like, you know, we had to kick him out of the arena and send him home. Woo, that's a tough scene. And then to your point, Jaden McDaniels, who's also another real impactful player. Those are 2 best defenders, right? Gobert and Jaden McDaniels. Broke his hand from punching a wall?
Yeah.
Punching a wall.
He was on his way. He was walking down the tunnel. I'm not sure what the context was.
Can you find the video of that?
He was walking through the.
Is there video?
Yeah.
There's video of Jaden McDaniels punching?
Yeah, you can find it, dude.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh,
Timberwolves, what are you doing?
He cracks the wall. Like there's no. I'm like, of course his hand's broken. Of course
He
his hand's
punched
broken.
that hard?
Oh, he threw.
Do you guys remember the statue?
First of all, Adam, he punched harder than Rudy punched.
Really?
By
No
a
way.
lot.
Oh, it's like, let me see.
Watch this. Bam.
Oh, broke his hand like that. Oh
Watch
my
this.
gosh.
The worst part,
I
the worst
know
part
that
is that
hurt.
he was
That is a good
walking
punch.
so
I mean,
slow.
he gave a good punch.
It really came out of nowhere, man. That was deep. That came from deep inside.
I can't believe the Timberwolves did this to themselves on game 82 and then proceeded to win the
And then
game,
won
by
the
the way.
game, by the way,
Which
yeah.
is wild, a really big one for them. But I got to say, I disagree with Kevin Garnett. I think Gobert getting kicked out of the arena and Jaden McDaniels breaking his hand is
It's not
really
good.
bad for the Timberwolves.
You don't think that?
Whose side are you on here? Are you on Kevin Garnett's side or mine, D-Line?
I feel like breaking your hand is not a great way to tighten the screws.
Literally have to tighten screws.
Unless they have
the
to keep
doctor
it
has to
together.
tighten the screws.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's the take of an unhinged person. Like, you don't want Kevin Garnett in your personal life if he's like, "Oh, that's the way you end a family vacation." Got to make sure you want it. No, it's insane. Like, I don't get it. I've not played in the NBA, but listen, it seems like a lot of like really elite athletes just thrive off of like ultimate confrontation, even with
Yeah.
their own teammates. Maybe there's something there. I don't think Rudy Gobert is motivated like that, though. He doesn't seem like that. He's got that dog in him that way.
Well, he punched someone in the shoulder and ran away. So
He punched him in the shoulder.
It was pretty tough, man.
The thing is here's the thing about a punch. You're either going to punch or you're not. Gobert half punched, right? Because you get penalized the same amount whether he would have been a real punch or a bad punch. You get penalized the same. It looks as bad. You look as shameful. But yet you also didn't get the punch in. You just get the little tap. So he actually gets the worst of everything. Where like if you see Kyle Anderson's reaction to it, he's kind of like, dude, what was that, you idiot? Like, dude, you wuss.
It's not often are you the
slapped him.
Not often are you the only one to get a punch off in a fight and lose it.
So true. Actually,
That is accurate. I think that's an accurate depiction of that fight.
And
altercation.
Also, I feel like Jaden McDaniels also has got a punch off and lost his fight as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
I think the statute of limitations is left. Do you remember when Michael Malone punched a TV in the hallway en route to a locker room vote like 3 seasons back?
No,
this
I
actually
think
happened.
This might have been before my time.
No, it wasn't. And I'm pretty sure Mike Singer reported that someone had because there was a giant broken thing. Yeah, someone had punched it. It was Michael Malone, who I'm guessing if I were to tell you which person in the Nuggets organization is most likely to break his hand punching a wall while walking to halftime, it's Michael Malone 1, 2, and 3. Easily him is the most likely.
Least likely, Nikola Jokic.
I don't know, man. He has a temper. Yoke loses his mind for very brief. He comes
but he
back
would like
quickly.
go to a TV. He'd be like,
I don't know. Anyway, the Timberwolves win this game. The Nuggets. Quick update. Nuggets are going to play Sunday. We knew this because the play-in is Friday. The Nuggets will play Sunday. And Kale, I sent you the sheet here. So here's who plays on Sunday. Both of the second play-in teams, which means both of the 1 seeds. So the Bucks are going to play, and the Nuggets are going to play. The other game will be the Clippers Suns, and then the other one will be the Grizzlies. And the other play-in one, which will probably be, I'm guessing, Lakers. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So I look at this one and I go, Clippers-Suns is going to be the marquee game. If I were to guess the schedule, I think that it's going to be Bucks in the early game. They're probably going to play 11 or 12, whatever it is, the early slate. You're probably going to get Memphis after that. You're going to get, then I think you'll get the primetime slate will be Clippers-Suns, and the late game will be Denver. It might be switched with Denver there, but usually they want the marquee game, and Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Kawhi Leonard in the LA market. That one will probably get the 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock slot. Means Denver, I'm guessing, is going to be 8 or 8:30.
that seems right.
Doesn't that seem right?
That's what's going to happen.
Even though the other one will take place.
Denver has never gotten a good time slot in their history, even as the number 1 seed.
Yeah, there's also a really good chance they're the NBA TV series as well.
I think on the first night, though, everybody's
that's right.
national
Yep,
television.
yep.
So first night, yeah. So everybody gets a little billing.
They're going to be on the True Crime Network.
The other fight that happened tonight was with the Clippers, who needed to beat the Suns. The Suns did not bring their guys, which I thought was interesting. Were they throwing the game? Probably not. They probably just didn't want to hurt any of their guys. Who are we to make fun of teams for not playing their aces? But they did.
The Clippers.
Now, this is what occurred.
They did lose one, and here's the fight that happened. Bones Highland gets in Mason Plumlee's face, shoves Plumlee.
Man.
And then similarly, I think you can just tell by the reaction of the bench that people are not like upset with Bones. And then you grab Bones. Hey, man, they're not upset with Plumlee. It's like, hey, man, calm the F down, dude.
Yeah.
Nugget on nugget crime.
Nugget on ex-nugget crime, man. This is a weird one.
Listen, that take of yours is becoming more and more sold in. I mean, these teams don't know what to do with themselves. They're fighting each other in like must-win games. Although both teams that fought won.
Wouldn't you say that, like in the NFL, the tension rises with each week, right?
Sure.
Culminating with the Super Bowl, but it's like it builds. In the NBA, it does like, is it tonight pressure? Is night not? And tonight was like supreme pressure. And you're right, we did get 2 fights, which is very rare. So something there. But the Clippers do hold on to win. Kawhi Leonard goes for 25, 15, and 6. And now they will take on the Phoenix Suns. We'll see, fellas.
By the way,
out of here.
S3 got well over 2,000 followers.
Oh
we did
my
it, guys.
gosh.
We did it, guys.
We did
Let's
it.
go.
We did it. So the Clippers get the Suns. I think that'll be a good one. We'll talk a lot more about these matchups here later on in the week. The Lakers will be the 7 seed, even though they beat the Utah Jazz tonight. By the way, LeBron James, 36, 6, and 6.
Pretty good.
Against the Utah Jazz. I want to make fun of a tanking Jazz team, but Denver just lost to them, so what can I do? Yoke had a very similar stat line, right? 4, 10, and 10, 36, 6, and 6. So the Lakers there, and then the Warriors fall into the 6. Any just quick thoughts on the way that shook out?
I mean, I was really hoping the Warriors would have ended up matching up against the Suns. Like,
You don't think the Clippers are a good matchup for him?
I do. It's just the Suns and the Warriors would have been epic.
Yeah.
That would have been absolutely epic. So we'll see. We'll see what matters. But that's the only thing that I was really hoping for. I mean, the Lakers are in the play-in, by the way.
Of course. By the way, the Warriors tonight, 157 points they put up on a terrible Trailblazers team that's tanking. But to get 6 threes from Clay and 5 from Steph is like, man, that sounds like classic Warriors. All these teams, when they have motivated, it's the same with the Nuggets. It's like, are they motivated? What do they look like? That's what we have to judge. And the Warriors, motivated tonight, put up 157 in regulation.
55 points in the first
55
quarter.
in the first quarter.
I'm glad they're on the other side of the bracket. And I'm actually into a series with them as far as if you're going to do it, like what humps do you get over? I think there's a lot there. But I don't want it to come until the Nuggets have had a couple of playoff series to get into the groove, to be themselves, I think I'd rather Denver be well into the playoff run and sort of have worked their way in and out of whatever sort of bumps in the road than just facing them in the second round, potentially. So I'm okay with that. I like the idea. The Clippers thing would be a lot more enticing if Paul George was healthy, but there's still something too. Like, I don't know, how many guys would you pick over Kawhi to guard KD in a series?
Right.
Like 7, 6. So there's something to it. It'll be interesting to see. It'd be a lot more exciting if Paul George was healthy.
Yeah. Let's go to the play-in now. So we have the Lakers hosting the Timberwolves. With Timberwolves, of course, Jaden McDaniels' broken hand, who's, by the way, an important player in that game.
Very.
Early opinion on how that one goes, D-Line? Lakers are... Here's the thing. I both fear the Lakers and think they're not good.
I know. It's the emotional
of
baggage
course.
that's part of that, like the what it's worth versus what it would cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the Timberwolves actually had to absolutely fight for their lives tonight and are truly in survival mode already.
Also,
heading
how
into
does
that.
Gobert come back? Like,
I don't know. He's just like Seinfeld. He just shows up next day and just pretends nothing happened. Hey guys, what's going on?
that game's Tuesday, by the way. It's not like there's a long time. They're going to have to get on a plane and go immediately
Yeah, I don't know.
to LA.
I mean, maybe they can trade Gobert for 5 picks.
I think it was 6.
Jesus.
How do you have an early leaning on that one, Vote? How that goes?
I think it's got to be the Lakers.
You think it easy?
Well, the McDaniels injury is huge. I think there's a lot to... I think you nailed it. Does Gobert just come back and play? I mean, yes, you have to play him, but it's going to be awkward at least. Sometimes I think...
You have to play him. Is there a chance Gobert doesn't play?
You have to play him.
Is there a chance Gobert doesn't play?
No.
He punched a teammate, man.
I mean, kind of pushed him.
Okay, all right.
Do you think
all
he
right.
yelled too slow after he got him?
Okay.
I don't know. I think he's got to play, but I think the Wolves are in shambles and they're sick. I think the illness is a real thing.
Man, that's true.
So I think you got to like
they
the Lakers.
played really well down the stretch today, I have to say. Like
Yeah.
that block by Anthony Edwards coming down the line, that was massive.
It was. They also missed 8 shots in a row in the clutch. Both teams did. It was a very poor clutch off. But all right. So I'm with you guys. I think the Lakers probably win that one. And honestly, it's a big one for me personally. I don't want to see the Lakers in the first round, even though I don't think they're good. I'm not saying Denver, you have to fear them or this or that, but I have a preference, and it's not the Lakers. Then after that, you got New Orleans, Oklahoma City. This is an interesting one, man. I think this is a great matchup.
I kind of like OKC.
Wow.
No way.
I don't think they're the better team, but I kind of like
They have the
them
best player.
I kind of like them to win this game.
I think they have the best player.
I think
and
they
it's
have the
Shea.
best player.
It's Shea or Brandon Ingram. I'd take Shea.
I think I would take Shea too, man. And they're not going to have Zion in that game. Now, I should also... Brandon Ingram has been on a heater.
Yeah, I'm betting.
He's been tremendous.
I'm betting a lot of money on the Pels.
Really?
Yeah.
You feel pretty confident in them?
Yes.
Just because they've been there before?
They're good. I mean, they were with Zion. They were leading the Western Conference. They looked excellent. Obviously, they don't have Zion, so that changes things. But I think that CJ McCollum is legitimate. Obviously, we've seen him tear the heart out of the Denver Nuggets in a playoff, and I like Brandon Ingram. I don't know. I like the Pelicans.
So you've got that one. I I think that one will be an interesting one. I do think the Pelicans probably have an edge just because they've been in these games before. The Thunder have had such a weird year. The Thunder operated like the Clippers this year for some reason, where they just like inexplicably took a lot of games off, a lot of rest days. If you go to that, then the Timberwolves versus the Pelicans, how would we feel about that one in Minnesota?
I told you that I had a vision they were going to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. And so I'm going to stick with my vision.
I can't wait for Eric to trust every dream he has after this. Was the vision? Were you asleep?
I was woken from a dream with this vision.
If this happens, like
Eric had the TV in the background, and someone was just reading the odds, just the percentages of which team finished.
I was in a darkened bedroom alone, as you can probably imagine.
Okay,
and
Aaron Rodgers style, huh?
Tell us more about the dream, though. Was it a good dream? Like, okay, like
I believe
way, or
if the dream is to be believed, one or more players will play the game in their underwear.
Okay, well,
I think the Pelicans are of those three teams that aren't the Lakers. I think the Pelicans are the best team. I have a feeling it's going to be the Wolves. I have a feeling.
Okay, all right.
He just said the same thing I did. He has a feeling.
Well, honestly,
that's different than my vision.
Yours sounds more ridiculous than mine. I think
your feeling is different than my vision.
Yeah. You should see a doctor. I have a gut feeling.
Guys, all week we're going to be previewing, obviously the play-in games, the series on the other side of the bracket and on our side of the bracket, and really just getting ready for the playoffs, really getting into all the minutia. I'm excited for it. We'll also have some good guests on that I'm excited to have in studio and also remotely. So tune in. If you don't tune in all the time for our off-day shows, no, I'm saying that this week, like the build-up now, there really is for me a sense of, we complained a lot about how the Nuggets limped into the playoffs. I didn't like it. I don't think most of us liked it. Even if we understood the thinking behind it, it wasn't something that we liked. But that's old stuff, and it really is time to reset and be like, you know what? A new season starts now.
Let's go, baby.
And it's completely different from whatever it was that we just saw. The Nuggets will have practices. There'll be a lot of content. It'll be a content-rich week for us here, and we're going Monday through Friday. We might even do an instant reaction Friday night after, because the Nuggets won't know who they play until Friday night.
It's true.
That's when we're going to get the revelation of who the matchup will be. So we'll be covering everything there. We do have some super chats. How many do we have, Kel?
Hey, let's go.
Who wants to read these?
I got you.
You got it.
Sam feels like a lot of bad juju around Yoke, mostly not on the bench, not throwing balls to the fans with the team. Still remember his interview when he said fans are only showing up now that they're good.
Yeah.
I think Yoke is. There are dog days, and then there's this for Yoke. I think it's another.
He's in the dog and pony days.
Yeah. Blake Shearer. Brown sugar season starts now. I kind of hate that, respectfully.
No, it's great. Brown sugar season. I like it.
Actually, I like it. Brown sugar.
Yeah, let's sing.
So good.
Shout out Blake. It's just Jordan. What a season. AJ, wow. AJ dominance, new 3-point record. KC threes. Mike.
After Yoke miss, yeah.
Mr. Nugget ending a life on Christmas. Browntown, 1 seed. What a season. It is true, man. It's been the season we waited a long time for. Josh Barnett from Down Under. Shrimp on the barbie. Jack White, give that bloke a top 15 contract, please.
Can we just actually, this is so premature. We're going to do this in the real off season, but let's just go through it. You got your starting. Let's say no major changes, right?
What did you just do to us?
No, I know. But I'm being serious here. Let's say no major changes, which might happen if Nuggets don't play well, but whatever. You got your starting five. You got Christian Brown, Peyton Watson. You've got Vlatko Cancar. And you've got Zeke Naji still under contract, so let's just go ahead and count him there. That's it. You bring over Ishmael Kamagate, it's because you're giving him an actual contract. They do have a second-round draft pick who may or may not be a second guy. Maybe you bring back Bruce Brown. It's going to be close, man. I think
Colin Gillespie, don't forget.
Colin Gillespie might be a two-way guy next year or something. Like Jack White, there's a slight chance that they find a way to squeeze him into the 15 spot, like a really low. If you have to cut him later in the season, you do. But I don't think it's out of the question. The Nuggets have every year basically had a two-way player that the next year becomes a vet minimum. And he might, or a minimum. He might just become a minimum player and get an opportunity. I wouldn't be. I would like it.
It's the one you've all waited for. From 55555-ish, we finally made it through the regular season. Final count. 53 terrible wins, 29 terrible losses. Can't wait to count down to 16 playoff wins to the NBA championship.
So just for reference, 53 wins now ties, I believe, the third best record. So Denver has in the NBA, in the ABA, they have 65 and 60. In the NBA, they have 57, 3 seasons with 54, and 1 other season with 53. So Denver now, this will be tied for the 5th best record in franchise history, which is pretty good. 5th most wins.
This should have been the most, but whatever.
We digress. We move.
F it, we ball.
Didn't choose the Nug Life. Nug Life chose me.
You poor sorry sucker.
Chiming in. Was near the Kings bench at the game after TB. That's Thomas Bryant. For you curious folks at home, it is 3 as all the Sacramento fans let out hilarious groans of despair. So much to be optimistic for. LFG.
I love it. Also, D-line, same reaction.
100%.
For me, it's Draymond. When Draymond threes go in, I'm like, oh my god, dude, this hurts.
Draymond
hurts
threes.
my organs.
Draymond threes are among the most painful threes in the game.
Yeah. Mile High Jelly, all my Utah Nuggets fans, where you at? Let's meet up and cheer for our boys from the other side of the Rockies. Maybe get a projector on the side of the Vivint Arena. Who cares? They aren't using it.
I like it. Heck yeah, man. We have a lot of Utah Nuggets fans, though. I will say there's a good amount.
I like that. That's like the best kind of person. Like they find themselves in a understandably terrible situation, and they look to improve their lives. You know what I mean? They're handed.
That's right.
Utah Jazz fandom, and they rejected. No.
They said we got something better in mind.
Toke Rasmussen. I'm so psyched for the playoffs. LFG, get those rings. Who's this Pat Rasmussen you always mistake me for?
I doubt it's Rasmussen.
Rasmussen?
Rasmussen.
Rasmussen.
I would so much rather say Rasmussen, just so you know.
You've done it enough 3 times.
That's right. You pay me to read your chats, not your names. Drunk Philosophy. AG misses the game and I hit my bet. Coincidence? Nay.
Whoa.
Now I got some liquor money.
Let's go.
Who's with me on the +20 parlay for Murray, MPJ, Yoke, all playoffs? Let's go.
Congrats, man. Way to hit it. Drunk Philosophy got his liquor money. Go for it. You can't do it?
Jurka Spacek.
That's a pretty good one.
Last game of the season, finally catching the show live. Thank you guys for your work during the regular season. Now let's go get that trophy. I apologize. That was an earnest effort. I apologize if I butchered it. Walter Worthy. Vlatko had a fadeaway 3 a couple months back, which had me calling him the White Mamba. And now Malone confirms we have the White Worm.
Oh,
Chip incoming, LFG.
Let's go.
The White Worm.
White Worm sounds
not nearly as intimidating as the White Mamba.
Kind of sounds like a pandemic.
And I don't think the Black Mamba was the Black Mamba because he was black. The White Worm, the white.
Hey, those fellas are white, so he's not wrong about that.
Well, I know.
Robert George, on to the playoffs. Dig in, baby. Let's go.
Wait, can we do Christian Brown, the Brown Mamba? With
the Brown Mamba? Mamba?
Brown Mamba might be the new nickname. I'm with it. Brown Mamba. So dumb.
Laking ball. You guys know you can't end the show without a homie hater.
The haters
but thank
here.
God the playoffs are here. Let's go. And my guy Vogt gets so happy with a Laking ball super chat. Jason Tatum, 30 points average. How many turnovers?
Will he super chat the night if the Celtics lose out? Will he super chat?
Let's make some kind of bet. If Tatum has 101 turnovers this time.
Bro, you want to hear the craziest thing I've ever seen? Laking Ball knows this. I caught the end of the Sun show. Laking Ball super chatted them.
No way!
He's just an all-city chatter.
This guy rocks.
Wow, this is incredible.
Guy rocks. S. Williams too. End of the season chat padding.
Let's go. He's chat padding. Such a chat patter.
And finally, Tyler Peters. Thank God the regular season is over. PJ Dozier playing in Denver. It just feels right, man.
I do like Dozier. I think a lot of people really love Dozier.
Dude,
Malone tried to give him a coaching spot again. Dozier still plays.
So much composier.
He is so composed, man. All right, hit that outro music there, Kale. Guys, remember when we were in the off season? Hey,
So
you guys
wait.
remember the preseason?
Are we in the pre-playoffs right now?
We're in the postseason, babe. Once we hit
Pre-post?
once everybody hits that like on the way out tonight, we are officially in postseason mode.
Hit the like for the postseason, baby.
And I am excited for it. Like I said, man, we've had this baggage of we have not liked the approach nor the outcome of the last 2-3 weeks. But I am excited to bury that. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter anymore.
I
It's
agree.
over. To the extent that it mattered at all, it's in the past and you just have to move forward. And I am excited to see how the Nuggets approach this week of practice. I'm excited to see all of the different things that happen this week around the NBA when with all the different various teams. I'm excited for it, man. This really is, as nervous as I am as a fan for whatever is ahead of us. This is the thing we've most wanted since we first laid eyes on
Let's
Nikola Jokic.
go!
We wanted to see, hey, how good can this guy be when you finally get a team that is respectable around him? How good can he be in the biggest moments? With Jamal Murray, when he missed those years, we saw the bubble. What will it look like? Will he reach that level again? Michael Porter, who's gone through so many trials and tribulations, 3 back surgeries since becoming a Denver Nugget, and yet finally he is ready and healthy to approach this postseason. All of these questions are now ahead of us, and I'm hyped for it, man. It's going to be the most nervous stretch of our lives.
Yep.
But
Check.
potentially the most rewarding, and it's all worth it, man.
Those
That's
two
what-
are inextricably connected. If you're not nervous, it doesn't mean anything if it happens.
It's 1,000% true.
So listen, guys, it's time to embrace it. We're ready, and I cannot wait for the Denver Nuggets to actually have to care. They can't not care about this next game.
It's so true. Vogt, any final thoughts on this regular season?
I think you nailed it, man. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've asked for. This is what we begged for, man. So let go of hell. You got one of the contenders, full strength, ready to go. Let go of hell. Let's go to battle, baby.
All week, 2 o'clock, we're going to be right here. And then, of course, next Sunday, the Nuggets take on whoever it is that comes out of this play-in for the 8th spot. This bar is going to be absolutely packed. You want to start thinking about your plans
Yes,
now.
come here. Come to the bar.
If
Let's
you're not,
go.
well, first of all, go to the arena if you can get tickets. If you
No,
can't,
screw that. Come here.
If you can't, come here, and I'm telling you, it's going to be just as loud, just as intense, just as packed, and just as fun. And I can't wait for it. Everybody hit that like button
Nuggets.
on the way out.
Nuggets.
Regular season over. Let's go to the playoffs.
Let's go.